Hi guys, it's Maju again, and today I want to talk about something a little bit different because I've been doing complimentary tarot readings on YouTube Live. I think I've done 3 sessions so far, and I really enjoy it. So, I want to talk about reading the tarot and how you can make yourself a better tarot reader just by studying the cards. So let's talk about that. Okay, so reading the tarot requires a few things. First, you need to know the definitions of your cards that you're reading. And the reason why this is my number one thing is because you see a lot of people online who offer intuitive readings, but they don't know the meaning of the cards. You can just tell who those people are, unfortunately. So that's my first suggestion is getting to know your cards, the definitions. With the tarot deck, this is number 2, there are specific definitions to each card because every tarot deck, even though they have or may have a different design to them, they all reference to the same meaning based on each card. So with a deck of 72 cards, I know it's quite difficult to decipher some of the meanings or even to memorize them. It can be very difficult. So that's unfortunately the first step in the process. So that's something you have to do is get to know the meaning of the cards. When you have the tarot like this, whether it's simple, like this is the Biddy Tarot, and I use this for daily readings on social media. I love this deck, by the way, but it's so simplistic that it doesn't give you very good details of the cards themselves. And what I mean by that is when you look at a different deck, such as the original, you have symbolism, you have other things that you can see on the card itself, you have color associations, you have all sorts of different things, and this is the deck that I use for my online readings because people know what this is. They've seen them before. Whether they're a reader or not, they'll know exactly what's going on. So this allows me to tell the story. Now, I also have one more deck that I use. Just taking it out of the wrap really quick. And this deck is very special to me because I know of the designer and the creator of this deck, which is the Auset Gypsy tarot deck. And I actually met him at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure many years ago. And he is just a phenomenal person. But with his deck, it resonates back to the original, and you can read from these cards just like the original tarot, or the soft deck, which is a little bit more in depth because in relation to Aleister Crowley, he added, I think it was 2 more cards, I don't remember, to the deck. But I have that deck too. I just don't use it as much anymore. I used to, but for my readings, I always use Auset Gypsy because that's my personal deck. I don't use that for actual live readings. And if you want to learn more about the deck for Auset Gypsy, which is made by James Perry or Jimmy, you can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Twitter. He does a lot of videos on Instagram, so definitely check him out there. But you can also go to ausetgypsy.com and order a deck for yourself. And it really is a nice deck. It's very large. And it's a good starter deck if it calls to you. Most people do start with the original. And because it's the one that you can associate with a lot of books that you can buy. Because you get those little books inside with your tarot decks, and it has meaning, so on and so forth. And I think that's great. But if you buy a full cover book too, at least you can follow along based on what the tarot means, and it gives you some example spreads, so on and so forth. The other deck I wanted to show you, which I have to get it out of the box, are Oracle cards. Now, Oracle cards are different from tarot. And this is the third thing I wanted to bring up. Oracle cards, like this one here, says Psychic Tarot, but it says Oracle deck. So, this is not 72 cards. Nor does it follow the meaning of the regular tarot. So, if you're looking to use something based on intuition alone, but you also still have to memorize what these cards mean, which it pretty much on these it shows at the bottom, you could use these instead of. But the Oracle deck gives you some information. It doesn't give you as in-depth information as a tarot reading would. And the reason for that is the symbology that's included in the tarot deck versus what's in an Oracle deck. Each Oracle deck also may have their own meaning. So if you buy an Oracle deck and you become very attached to it or close to it or what have you, and then you buy another one from a different illustrator or a different producer or artist or what have you, those meanings for their cards may be different compared to what you're used to. So Oracle cards don't have a consistent meaning across the board with all their decks, as to where the tarot, no matter what illustrations you pick or you like or you're drawn to, those cards are going to have the same meaning. So I always say start with your basic decks, such as the one that I have here, the original, or the Thoth deck, or even there's a deck that I have that I absolutely love tremendously. I used to use it for readings for people in person, is the the Steampunk Tarot. That took me a while. The Steampunk Tarot. But the Steampunk Tarot also comes with a full book. Okay? So you have the full book already with the cards. But the symbolism and the picture, the illustration in those cards match pretty much what the original tarot deck does. So whether you're using one and you switch to the other or vice versa, you can still tell what each card mean just by looking at the card, and it'll remind you of the definition. That's the biggest thing with tarot, is being reminded of the definition when you look at the cards. So if you switch decks and you already know the meaning of the card, when a card pops up, you still know that meaning, even though all the symbolism is not there, such as with the Biddy Tarot. The Biddy Tarot doesn't have that much symbolism as an original tarot deck does. So it's not hard once you get the hang of it, but that's the thing. You can't, and this is number 4, you cannot read intuitively with a tarot deck unless you know the meanings behind the cards. Because you can look at a card, see a picture, and say, oh, that's a guy in a boat, and he has 4 staffs with him, and he's crossing a lake, and there's land on the other side. You're going on a cruise. Really? No. No, that's not what the card means. Now, in reference to your own intuition, that's what it may mean based on your client's question. But in order to know what the answer is, you have to know the meaning behind the card itself. Now, there are some people that read upright and also reversal decks, or reversals in decks rather, and some people read just upright or face up value. Now, I do both. And in my daily readings, for the one card reading or one card draw, whatever you want to call it, that I post on social media, I do upright only. And the reason being is because I use the Biddy Tarot and I know what the reversals mean, but I want to give somebody some insight because there are cards in the deck, in the tarot deck, that are negative and positive, and then there are others that will have a positive or negative influence on other cards that are associated within the reading. So if you've watched, especially my last live video, which I did on December 7th, between 6 and 7 p.m. on YouTube, and you're still able to watch it, you'll see that I go into great detail. I only had one client for an entire hour, or one watcher, I should say, who wanted the reading. So she was the only person that I was reading for that entire hour, even though it was complimentary. I know some people had sent me messages on Facebook, hey, I didn't realize this was going on, how did I miss it? I'm like, I don't know, I posted all over social media, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I always tell them, and plus if you are subscribed to my channel, you automatically get a notification stating I'm going live on such and such a date at such and such time. Yesterday was a little bit out of the ordinary because I did it kind of spontaneously. I did it within an hour of when I decided I was going to do it. Now I am going to do another one today, which is December 8th, 2021. I haven't put it up on YouTube yet. I'm going to do that after I finish this video. But yeah, there's so many things that you need to know before you can give a reading. And I understand that there is a lot of curiosity, along with anxiety, along with willingness to learn and wanting to read the tarot. But you really have to know those meanings before you go ahead and dive in to read for someone else. Now, it's good if you're reading for someone else that you know or for yourself and you have your book beside you, because that helps you. And you just tell the person, hey, I'm still working on knowing or memorizing the meanings of all the cards. So if I reference to my book, please don't mind me. I just need clarification to make sure I'm right. I just want to make sure I'm giving you a proper reading as I should be. So if you do happen to do that, keep in mind that it's okay to do that. Don't feel that you can't do it, because the meanings behind the tarot, again, it's very important for you to give your intuition paired with the tarot card to paint your picture in your mind about what is going on in this reading and in association to what your client has asked or has inquired about. I do live readings through kevhen.com. People can sign up if they want to, and I don't charge very much because I don't believe that readers, even skilled readers, need to charge an arm and a leg for readings. I think some of the prices I've seen online before I started my website about video readings, which is where you would ask for a reading and I deliver it to you by the way of email and it's recorded. And also live readings. Some of the prices are ridiculous. $150 an hour, $120 an hour. I think the maximum charge I have is $50 or $60, and that's for an anything goes reading. So if you have multiple questions or multiple concerns about one specific topic, or if you have questions about different things, you have me for an hour, my undivided attention, which allows you to stop me at any point and say, hey, I need more information on that. Or, okay, that was a good reading. Let's start with another question because I have another concern. No problem. Just let me know what's going on. You have my undivided attention for an hour, and that's basically what we do for an hour. Is we talk, we learn, we go through the tarot, see what the tarot says. I interpret the cards for you. I use my own intuition to figure out what exactly is going on, and I pass that information on to you. I'm going to go on a little bit further. I know this video is a little long, but just to show you the difference between tarot decks and also the oracle deck that I have. Let me just pull this up here. And by the way, I do make these as well. These are tarot wraps / altar cloths that I make. They're hand sewn. They're available at spiritoftwilight.com. And they're on sale right now to the end of December for $10.99. So that's $5 off the regular price if you're interested. Okay, so I'm going to pull the Magician from my tarot decks. And Lover, Magician, there it is. And from the Biddy Tarot, so you can see the difference between the three and what I mean by symbolism. And one thing that I do really appreciate with the Auset Gypsy Tarot, and I'm not just saying this because I associate with James on social media, but his book actually gives you a story. And the story is so good, but he also gives you his own intuition, of what his card means in his own mindset. So he gives you an example of what you can use when you're doing a reading. Now, these are different sizes. I'm going to point the camera down for a second. These are the different sizes of the tarot cards. Let me move this out of the way. Go. Okay, so these are all right side up for you guys, so you can see them. Hopefully you can see them clearly. I'm on my laptop. But this is a Magician from the Auset Gypsy Tarot. Okay? And within James's book, you'll see that he actually represents the Magician. And he's also the creator. He's also a internationally known psychic and tarot reader. So he is an awesome person. If you ever get a reading from him, it would be absolutely fantastic. And I can guarantee. But if you look at his card, he does have symbolism at the bottom. And you can also tell, not just by the symbolism, but within the book, he references and also relates to Egyptology or Egyptomology, Egypt sort of mythology. So that's a part of who he is. Okay, but you can see the symbolism on here, what it stands for. You can see the different pieces of information. You have cups, you have wands, you have swords, and I believe there is a pentacle somewhere, or a coin, which is the same thing. Blah, 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 blah. I don't have my glasses on, so I really can't see it that well. But anyway, you see down here, there's a symbolism for Mercury, and also there's an Egyptian symbol as well. The other magician card, this is from the original tarot deck that's been used for years and years and years and years. And I'm sure most people actually would associate with this deck because they'll know the symbology. There's tons of things that you can see. You see the four symbolisms also again, the cup, the pentacle, he's holding a wand. There is a sword on the table, and there's also a dish or a actual pentacle on the table or pentagram on the table. So you can see that as well. And I apologize, my camera is not staying in focus. I don't know why. But this is a magician from the original tarot deck. You can also see the infinity symbol on top, which means that it's ongoing. So that would be from the original tarot deck. The last one is from the Biddy Tarot, and this is where it gets a little complicated for people. If you don't start off with a basic or known tarot deck, with the Biddy Tarot, you can see the symbolism, okay, just like this one. It's pretty much the same, but it's not in great detail. So you don't have color references, you don't have backgrounds really to reference to all that much, so you need a little bit more knowledge to use this one than you would with the original tarot deck or even with the Auset Gypsy Tarot. Okay, so that's the difference between tarot cards. Now, looking at an oracle card, and I don't believe there is a magician card in here, but this one, I'm going to move these aside. Third eye chakra. Patience and planning. Passion ignited. Now, this particular oracle deck, which happens to be my favorite out of all the decks that I ever used, they tell you the meaning of the card on the bottom. So you may not have to reference back to the book in order to tell a story or to find out the meaning for the card. So with that being said, the oracle cards to me are easier, and oracle cards are never read in reversal format. They're only read one side up. So that's the difference between the oracle decks. That's the difference between the oracle decks and tarot cards themselves. But I'm going to wrap up this video because it's a little long and I didn't intend to do that. But anyway, I'll be posting later on YouTube and letting you guys know when I'll be doing live readings later. If you want to join me, please feel free. If you can't, you can always watch the video afterwards, or you can catch it once the video starts. I'm not sure when YouTube starts posting it, but you can watch it if you want to. And as always, I thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, as always, please go ahead, subscribe, like, share, help people get to know who I am so I can be of service to them. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.